It's a beautiful day to talk about the Denver Nuggets. Welcome in, everyone, to the Denver Sports Podcast, a podcast where we talk about all of the biggest sports topics from Colorado and beyond. We are live from the Toyota Lounge. Christian Saez, the man himself, D-Line, jumping back on the show. Thanks for being here, man.
Listen, man.
I wish we had better, more positive things to talk about. We've had some positive shows with you on, but this one feels a little heavier, a little more... heavy maybe is the wrong word. A little more frustrating. That's the vibe that I feel right now.
Yeah, we're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
We're in a tough spot, but it's a fake tough spot. But it's a tough spot nonetheless.
It is. You still got to, as my therapist always tells me, you still got to feel your feelings. You got to be present in the moment and allow yourself to feel all of the emotions. And right now we've got a lot of emotions as Nuggets fans.
I'll tell you, I'm numb.
Yeah.
I'm feeling no emotions towards the Nuggets right now, except for I'm a little frustrated, and that's
an emotion.
Well, we're coming off of the most frustrating defeat that the Nuggets have had in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So, we're a little raw, but we're still keeping perspective. That's the important.
It's also the middle of the season, and we remind ourselves of that every once in a while. Again, it's okay to feel however you're feeling, to be frustrated with the Nuggets in the clutch and the injuries and all of those things. And to be honest, man, it's been a pretty shitty season from just a vibe standpoint, right? Like, it started well, but then you've had all the injuries and, the issues with playing in the clutch and some players just not like reaching the point that you want them to. And it's just been one of those years. But I remind us, I think you and I did a show right before the Nuggets season started, and we were kind of saying, hey, like we need, I wish we could have like a time portal that could go to like our future selves when we're halfway through the season and we're crashing out about all of these losses that we're just randomly stumbling into, and say, it's going to be okay. They're still going to be in the playoffs. Yeah. It's going to be fine. Injuries, I think that part's a little heavier, but we do still have that perspective that things can still work out.
Things should work out.
Things should work out, exactly.
I mean, injuries, just saying the word injuries does not cover even a little bit what this season has been all about. The Nuggets, for a good portion of the season, have been playing without 4 of the 5 starters, including Nikola Jokic, at times Jamal Murray. Have you heard of this man? Aaron Gordon, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson. Literally every one of those players has missed time. And then we've had like a weird revolving door of like Peyton Watson. There's been like really great storylines that have come up from this season. Like the absolute ascension of Peyton Watson is a very notable storyline, but of course he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So we don't really have that to fall back onto. It does feel like the Nuggets are slowly coming back into form. We do now have 4 of 5 starters, which is a monumental milestone for the team to have
step in the right direction.
Most of the starters playing. Of course, no Aaron Gordon. We don't know what his status is exactly. He re-injured his another soft tissue injury in his calf, which is just the worst possible news for anyone that is counting on any kind of reliable timeline for him to come back. But just in general, it's just one of these seasons where you're like, oh my God. Can we just catch a break here, man?
I know. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, too, because we came into this season starting out talking about how much depth this team had on paper, right? The roster was revamped. You went out and signed a couple bigs. You got some more depth on the bench, and it felt like, okay, we've got the guys to weather the storm. Because we know, no matter what, even if the injuries weren't as bad, it's still a long season. There's ups and downs. There are guys who are going to miss some time. And so we felt like the depth was going to get us there. But the amount of injuries that have happened that's caused the inconsistencies, in my opinion, that we see today, it feels like we're one bad news alert on our phones away from this season like being in complete shambles at this point. Like, it feels like we're kind of walking on thin ice at this point, even though, like you said, we've got 4 of our 5 guys back. it's like, okay, well, what level of back are we at now? Like, how healthy are these guys really going to be when they're back? And every night it's a, so-and-so's probable or so-and-so's questionable, and this flared up again. And so it just feels like we're walking on thin ice. And, I'm like afraid to check the alerts on my phone because I'm like, oh man, one of these alerts is going to be something devastating and it's just going to like throw us completely over the edge. Like that's the feeling that I have.
Dang,
I know it's a little dark.
You're injured.
It's a little.
You've been wounded.
Well, I am a Rockies fan, so I live in pain and misery.
Shouldn't you be built for this? Like, what the hell, dude?
That's true.
What's with the terror?
I'm still practicing, man. We're still getting there.
I mean, listen. Okay, so here's the deal. Like, Spencer Jones, another great story for the Denver Nuggets, a two-way player that I think as of this recording has not actually been converted. For those who don't know what a two-way contract is, it basically allows you to play both in the G League, the developmental league, and in the NBA. But you have a limited number of games you're allowed to play at the NBA level before you have to be converted into a regular contract. The Nuggets have 2 roster spots open.
Yeah.
So Spencer Jones will be converted. I just don't think he has been yet because he suffered, of course, a concussion. The most common.
I think Adelman said yesterday on some other interview that he expected the news by today. Sometime.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know. We laugh on our show about it. It's like every day they don't sign him, they're saving like $3,000 or something. Yeah. They're just
kicking it down the hill.
They're just like, they're like, what, like forget rewarding this guy for being a very reliable player and, filling in the darkest moments and making, forget like rewarding him and giving him a full NBA contract. We're going to wait till the last minute so we don't have to pay him $500,000. We have to pay him $490,000. Incredible stuff. We love to see it. But he's out right now too because he headbutted Karl Anthony Towns, who seemingly got the worst of it. Karl Anthony Towns. He bled all over the court. He bled all over his face and his jersey. But then he came right back into the game. And Spencer Jones, who didn't seem like he was that rattled by it, has now been out for 3 or 4 games. So in response to your larger question, like what's going on with their depth, like without the depth that they have, like they would be in absolute shambles right now. But they've actually not only, the most impressive stretch for the Denver Nuggets this season was when Nikola Jokic went out and the reserves or the others were able to sort of step up, redefine how they play. That's where we saw Peyton Watson really take a step forward, Jamal Murray really take a step forward, really cement his place as an all-star, which he has achieved. He's now officially an all-star. But we saw like really great things depth-wise from the Denver Nuggets. And it's always just been this like, okay, cool, we're skating by, we're beating these teams that maybe we shouldn't, but obviously around the corner, we're going to get our entire team back. And once we get our entire team back, that's when you can really start to enjoy basketball again. We've gotten a lot of our team back, and right now it sucks.
Yeah, I think the hard thing about all of this, too, has been the expectations have been so different depending on the different season of this year that we've been in. You go into the non-Jokic time, and we're all sitting here thinking, man, if they can win, if they can go like 300, 400, maybe even 500 throughout this stretch, that would be a miracle, right? And and like you said, the reality is they actually played pretty well, and so they exceeded our expectations by a lot during that stretch. And then now, you go back to last night where, like you said, you've got, a little bit more of that foundation back out on the floor. And it was just a confusing game, and the clutch points continue to be an issue. And so it's just all of those kind of things. It's like the expectations are swapped almost.
Well, if we're talking specifically about do you want to get into the last game, the most frustrating game the Nuggets have played in some time? The Nuggets were leading almost the entire game. They were playing against the Cavaliers of Cleveland. They were in control almost the entire game. Cleveland is a team that many are looking at to potentially win win the East. They're at least in the conversation for the top spot in the East, which is saying very little. The East, again, sucks compared to the West. Yeah. All the weak teams are out in the East. And they also have a bunch of new players. Like, they're one of the teams that really rearranged a lot of their furniture on their deck with the trade deadline. They got James Harden, which is insane. And, like, just a bunch of guys. So, it would be, you feel like it's going to take them a while to figure out how to play together. And it seemed like the Nuggets it didn't seem like it. The Nuggets were in control the entire game. They were up by 10, 13 for the entire game. And then they just like took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And I got really mad at David Adelman. David Adelman is, our new coach. He's been in the organization for years. He was an assistant coach for Michael Malone. And to this point, like I really haven't had many frustrating moments with David Adelman, but this last game, it felt like he was like oddly stubborn with his rotations. He didn't bring the starters in until it was too late. And then, like a bad bounce here, a bad bounce there, and all of a sudden they lose the game when absolutely they should not have. And so this game in and of itself, not a big deal, just 1 of 82, but we're in this stretch where like we're actually playing good teams now, and we just keep getting our teeth kicked in, and it's not cool.
No.
And it's uncool because Jokic is playing, and he's not playing great, and Murray is playing, and he's just playing fine, and they're just not. They look like one of these teams that like has the feeling that like they'll be fine. They just are kind of like coasting into the All-Star break, which is like. You hate that. I hate that because we're here every night, dude. I'm here every night.
Yeah.
I watch.
You're
all
not coasting yet.
I mean, I'm coasting.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Are you in a perpetual coast?
I mean, come on. Yeah. I've worn sweats 9 days in a row. Probably the same sweats. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
But point being is that like it's just this is where the casual onlooker. I won't even call them the casual fan. The casual onlooker.
Sure.
Looks at the NBA, they're like, why would I? There's so many games. Like, these games are boring. Like, who cares? And normally I'm like, oh, for shame. You don't understand. And then right now I'm like, yeah, they might have a point.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I saw, because you got the Grizzlies, I think it's the Grizzlies coming up tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies are terrible,
Denver.
by the way.
They are. They're awful. They're one of the worst teams I've ever watched.
We are in, like, if we're in a situation whereby if we drop this game tonight, it's going to be real.
No, I was watching your guys' show, and Harrison said, if the Nuggets lose tonight
Quit the show.
to the Grizzlies, he's quitting the show. I'll take it a step further. If the Nuggets lose tonight, you want to come join the Rockies beat for a little bit?
Harrison doesn't realize how good he has it. That's the type of thing. Like, this is what I do all the time too, where I like get grumpy about some like
I'll give
part
you some
of my life
perspective
that,
over there.
there's some part of my life that I have no business complaining about, but I've like already lost focus of what it is to be a real working man.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I have to come in before 11, I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is, whatever.
But it is a big, I mean, it's not a big game, but like you said, from a crashing out standpoint, it feels so much heavier than it needs to.
Oh, this is the crashing out Super Bowl.
Yeah. It can't happen. It cannot happen.
Dude, if you're a person that wants to lose their mind, watch this game. Is it tonight? I think it's
tonight. Yeah. Wednesday night.
Knowing that you'll either leave it going, obviously, or it'll be the worst day of your life. One of those two.
So again, if you guys at home don't know who I am, I cover our Rockies beat. And I I kind of came to an agreement with Spencer on the show that I would allow myself only one crash out during the regular season for the one. Because every game could be a crash out for the Rockies if you allow that to happen. Only one.
There's 180 games.
I'm allowing myself only one.
Or
Also,
160.
with the expectation, 162, and with the
162.
expectation that the Rockies are still going to lose 100 games, no matter what they do this offseason. They're still losing 100 games. I mean, that's my expectation. But one crash out, and this is the game where, from a basketball perspective, where I'm like, if it was flipped over onto the baseball side of things, like that's the crash out if they lose tonight.
I'm in an extended crash out currently.
Yeah, a lifelong crash.
Well,
out,
they
maybe?
keep losing, and I just keep bringing out my wet limp cigarette to sort of hang out on my lip to show everyone that I've just hit absolute rock
the
bottom.
D-line meme. Yeah.
But I've now done it 4 days in a row, and I only have the one cigarette. So it's like getting
you get the whole mouthful.
Well,
of
it started like these just. In case you didn't know, cigarettes not built to last. They're not.
They get a little soggy. Yeah, they get a little soggy.
So it's like starting to burn. Like I'm starting to inhale pieces of loose tobacco. Like the filter's getting kind of gross. So listen, I keep thinking like I can get rid of it, but then again, 4 times in a row, I'm like, well, where's my goddamn cigarette?
I know,
dude. I'm bottoming out. I'm bottoming out.
If you guys want to help D-line tonight, depending on how this game goes, you might need to send him some packs.
Dude.
Depending on how tonight goes, we might be coping. But no, I agree with KV in the chat. Nuggets are going to be fine.
They're totally going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. We're having fun with it, but it is frustrating when, like you said, when the expectations are so high You know what this team is capable of. Even with 4 out of their 5 starters healthy or relatively healthy, you know what they're capable of. Anytime you have a decently healthy Jokic out on the floor, you know what this team is capable of, and they're just not doing that. Or at least they're not doing it when it matters. And that's the clutch conversation. And I don't want to go too deep into the clutch stuff just because it's been talked about so often at nauseum. But that's kind of the issue. That's where we're at right now. Is it's just the expectations are there, and they're just not hitting those. But I want to change gears. We got to take our first break of the show.
Dude, God.
After the break, let's go a little bit beyond just the Nuggets. We're still going to talk about the Nuggets.
Can
but
it still be super disappointing and make me depressed?
It can, because I was going to ask the question, and it's a question that we get every single year, and so I'm going to throw it out there. Is the NBA dying? Is this the worst season of the NBA that we've ever seen?
There we go.
Let's talk about that coming up next.
Oh, God.
Breaking news from Bet365. We are back. And today, using the code DNVR365, you can unlock tons of different deals using that Bet365 app. We absolutely love Bet365. They're one of our favorite partners because it's one of the best places to go for sports betting. And we know that's a huge part of enjoying sports nowadays. It's one of my favorite ways to enjoy sports. You guys know me. I come from baseball background, host the Rockies show. We did this thing last year called the Anti-Rockies Parlay, where we said, you know what? If the Rockies are going to lose as many times as they lost, well, we might as well make some money on it using the Bet365 app. And the cool thing about Bet365 is using that code DNVR365 when you sign up. They have this cool thing called the MLB early payout offer. If your team goes up by 5 runs, you immediately get the payout, no matter what, win or lose at the end of that game. So tons of cool offers. And right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Also got to give a huge shout out to our friends at Xfinity. Xfinity is the best place to go get your intelligent and reliable Wi-Fi. And the cool thing about Xfinity right now is that if you call them today, right now, you can get locked in on their Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, which means your price for Wi-Fi is the same today as it will be in 5 years. That's an incredible deal. That's literally beating inflation. You just can't go wrong with that. And also the cool thing about Xfinity is their Wi-Fi is great. I've had Xfinity Wi-Fi for a long time. It's intelligent. It adapts. It can make decisions when it realizes something's going wrong. It does all this work behind the scenes to make sure that you don't have to worry about your Wi-Fi. You can just enjoy your life, and your Wi-Fi is going to be running reliably in the background. So right now, lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Welcome back here on the Denver Sports Podcast. Look, we see this argument come up every year, and this is a great platform to talk about it. This is a show where we talk about, like I said, a lot of various different amount of topics in the sports world.
Let's get to the hottest one.
I've seen a lot of people recently being really upset with the NBA product as a whole, and to be fair, I think every sport has fans that are upset about the salary cap issues in baseball and I don't know, the Pro Bowl in the NFL and the All-Star game with basketball. But I've seen it a lot more coming up recently with the NBA. And so it kind of brings up some questions, right? Like, what's the issue with the product of the NBA right now? Is there ways that you think, from your perspective, someone who watches every single Nuggets game, watches the NBA games as a whole, is there ways that you would improve what's going on right now in the NBA, or do you see some big flaws that you would like to change?
I'll say I'm deep in it, so I kind of like hang out with the sickos that would watch any amount. So I'm curious, what are you hearing? Like, let me respond to some of the things you hear, some of the things you feel.
So, like, for example, I mean, and some of these aren't things you can change, right? We've seen a ton of injuries this year.
Let's talk about it.
We've seen a ton of injuries this year. I know the Giannis situation was brought up, his whole thing with Kalshi, and then how he was kind of wanting to push himself out of Milwaukee. But I also think a lot of times, this was one that I saw coming up, the way contracts are organized within the NBA. You see teams right now that are trading like picks that are 20 years down the road, 10 years down the road, right? I think Hunter Tyson was just traded for a 2032 pick.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people say, like, when is it enough, right? Like, when do we see changes? Like, are we going to start seeing guys getting a first round draft pick traded in 2050? Like, where do we stop?
Okay, so here's what happened with the NBA. Tim Connolly was the general manager for the Denver Nuggets. Perhaps you're familiar with him. Perhaps you're not. He's the one that drafted Nikola Jokic, and then he was stolen away by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He famously came in, as Josh Kroenke said, through the side door, and they didn't approach him in the right way. They poached him in a way that they felt was untoward. So anyway, point is, he went to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and he was eager, obviously, to make a big splash as he moved over. And so he orchestrated the Rudy Gobert trade, whereby he acquired Rudy Gobert for 5 first-round picks, which was an unbelievable amount of picks. Like, everyone was like, what? That doesn't make sense. 5 first-round picks, and it just seemed like once that happened, it's just like real estate. Once the market is set, like once one house gets sold for way too much money, it raises the prices of the other houses around it, because it's all of the pricing is is based on comps, right? So he broke the trade market. So now we have like all of these trades where if a superstar or at least a good player is involved, you have like these insane number of picks. And the thing about the NBA is you only have 2 picks a year, right? It's not like in the NFL where it's like, oh, I'll give you a 6th rounder and a 5th rounder. We'll do a pick swap. It's like, there's only 5 players on the court at any given time. So adding 1 player anytime, it changes 20% of the players that you have on the court. So it is very, very, impactful to get 1 player. So anyway, the trade market is a disaster right now.
Yeah, it is.
There are teams that have absolutely benefited and have been very wily and smart. Number one being the Oklahoma City Thunder, who obviously just won the NBA championship, but also have a disgusting number of picks because they were able to, they traded to get Shea, the current MVP of the league. They also had terrible contracts with Paul Pierce, with Russell Westbrook. They had like all of these aging version. They had like the corpse version of their team when they had Kevin Durant and James Harden and Russell Westbrook, that version of the Thunder. They rather than just like letting it, like what the Golden State Warriors are doing, just like slowly fade out and die away and just everyone feel bad for Steph. They just traded those guys, got tons of picks, all the while getting then the right young player. So we're in a terrible spot right now. We're in an absolutely terrible spot when it comes to the trade market. The thing is that it doesn't really have any effect on the Denver Nuggets. Like, the Denver Nuggets are actually in a really good spot because they grew their team organically. Like, all of their good players, for the most part, outside of Aaron Gordon, are homegrown. They're drafted, they're cultivated, they're brought along. Nikola Jokic obviously being the most obvious and impactful, but Jamal Murray, same thing.
Yeah.
So, man, I don't know. Like, the thing about the NBA, and it could be argued that it's like, it makes it more exciting. There's like always big movement that happens around the trade deadline. But I mean, this is stuff, it's like, it shouldn't, if you're a Nuggets fan, like none of this should bother you. This shouldn't be a turnoff for you for the league at large. There's just a lot of bad teams. There always are. Because again, like if you get like an all-world player, like a Wemby or somebody, like the effect that has on a basketball team is so profound that if you don't have one of those all-world players, it doesn't matter how much depth you have. Like, you're just not going to compete.
Yeah, yeah, and I want to hear from you guys. Drop a comment in the chat if you have any ideas of how you would improve the NBA's product, whether it be from trades, drafting, salaries, whatever. There's a lot of different angles you can go in this. But the NFL is currently trying to expand their trade window. Right now, you can only trade picks. I think it's 3 years into the future. They're trying to expand that too. But like you said, the minute you set that market, it's not to use baseball again, but like in the baseball example, right? Yes. When Shohei Ohtani signed for $700 million,
you're like,
the next year, Juan Soto, who is significantly less valuable of an asset than Shohei Ohtani is, just from a money standpoint, got signed for, what was it, $800 million or more than that. I think Shohei was $500 million and he was $700 million. But the market was set. So there's no salary cap. There's no, you can sign a player for $1 billion if you've got the money. And that's the same thing with what's happening with the NBA, is that there's no guardrails. I mean, you're just, you could kind of unlimited.
Well, there are some things,
but they're loose.
There are rules called like the Stepien, which says you can't trade your first round pick in consecutive years. It has to be like, and that there's, to my knowledge, there's not like a forward facing, to my knowledge, you could trade your pick from 50 years from now. I think there might be some kind of cap on that. I don't really know, but to me, it's like, whatever. I mean, none of this stuff really matters that much. It's just, to me, it's like, if you're talking about how to improve the NBA product, it's not about trades. It's not about all that. It's just, there's too many goddamn games. And I hate saying that because I love the NBA, but the way that it works out is that too many games means back-to-backs, means lower quality of games, because they're played with people and they get tired. When you force them to fly across the country multiple times, you have these insane scheduling blips where the Nuggets will fly out for one game and then fly back, and then stuff whereby, and I scream about this all the time on the show. I'm like, don't we have AI now? Can't we use AI to figure out a better schedule so where we don't have to, it actually takes into consideration the human element of forcing these guys to fly from New York to Detroit back to Denver. And then it's that's where there are some nights where you as a fan feel tired.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, we've been watching, there's been 3 games in 4 nights.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And then you can just feel it coming. There's nothing worse than watching your guys play and just feeling their exhaustion coming through the screen. And then you're like, I can't even fault these guys. I can't even really analyze this in a way that's fair because I'm tired, So it's just, there's too many games. And if they are dead set on keeping this number of games, they have to extend the season. The thing that that Adam Silver has done is that in his attempts to quote unquote fix the league, he added this in-season tournament. He added things to try and build more, intriguing basketball in the middle part and in the beginning part of the season. But what it did is it compressed the schedule all around it. You had this weird break around the finals of the in-season tournament, which then the waterfall effect is that we're getting, all these back-to-backs leading into the All-Star break. And it just feels like, what are we doing, Dan? Why are we doing this?
Yeah. Yeah. And the other, big point that I see a lot of people making is tanking, and tanking's another one, that always will be thrown out there. I mean, look at what Utah is doing right now. Yeah. Utah, you don't know. I mean, they're getting their best players and saying, they're just not going to play the fourth quarter. We're just going to let them sit, and it's not, we're going to say it's rest and load management, and that's just going to be it. And there's nothing you could do about that. But I don't know. But I don't know what the solution to that is either. If Adam Silver wants to come out and acknowledge that what Utah, as an example, is doing is tanking, then you've got to penalize them. You've got to punish them. And so I don't think he wants to do that. So while I absolutely love the NBA, I do think it's fair that, I think the NBA is one of the more dysfunctional leagues compared to the NFL and the way that things are run in the NFL, and even baseball. And baseball has a lot of flaws too, but.
Well, here's the thing about the way. So baseball, you're not as incentivized to tank because it's even if you get a good draft pick, you won't see that player for 5 years.
Yeah.
Football, you can't tank and hockey is the same thing. You can't tank in the same way you can in basketball because those sports are dangerous. You can't go out and play at half speed in a football game. You'll die. You'll literally die. And the same thing with hockey. If you're going around and you're just you'll get checked into the boards and you'll get all of your teeth knocked out in front of your family. It'll be terrible. Basketball, you can absolutely put half effort into.
True.
And there's no downside. It doesn't matter at all. And I don't know. I mean, tanking sucks if you're watching Utah every night. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, I don't mind getting a free win if I go up against Utah and I can take advantage of what they're doing and my team gets a dub. And even if it's like a fake dub, it still feels good.
But see, that's the thing. I mean, Utah, it's like been inconsistent, right? Like there have been some games where they've played their starters through the fourth quarter, and then there's been other games where they're like, nah, like we're gonna not get it. So it's like you almost, it's almost like that makes it worse, where you're sitting there saying, well, they basically tanked against OKC, but then they played all their guys against the Nuggets. Like, why us? Why'd they do that against us?
Utah's in a weird position. Utah specifically is in a weird position because they are tanking, but then they made a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
So it's like, so they actually they don't know how to like do this right now because they actually do have really good young talent.
They do.
They have Ace Bailey, and guarantee everybody that is looking ahead. I mean, it's smart, man. Utah should tank. That this is a draft that has been lauded already as like maybe the best in 20 years. People that are like really heavy on draft, which I'm not. I don't pay attention to college basketball. I don't know who's good. I hear DeBance's really good. I hear that whatever. I don't know, but all of the draft nicks are saying like, man, this is the one. This is the one. So it makes sense. But I don't, again, like,
but it also doesn't guarantee you a top draft pick either, because Dallas got it last year.
Yeah, but the point being is like, I don't think tanking is ruining the league because I don't think it's as widespread as people are talking about.
Yeah,
and you still do get good games that come up all the time. There are just too many games too close. That to me, that's the whole issue. That's 100% the issue. I wish they would cut it back to like 62 games. No back-to-backs ever. My ultimate solve for the NBA and the NHL is I feel like they should adopt what football has done, and they should have specific days they play on. Basketball is played on Tuesday, Thursday, and then, maybe it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, one of those two.
Yeah.
And like when every game is same, and then hockey is the other days. And so you have this thing where like they never overlap. You know exactly when it's happening. You're able to build this. I mean, obviously there's a lot of like complexity with all these multi-use stadiums. There's like, Taylor Swift has to have a concert. We got to see like the WWE needs to come out and have Grant,
do a little
the
monster
slam,
jam.
whatever.
Yeah.
That stuff. But like, bro. My two fixes. You want to hear my other fix?
Sure.
You might not like this one. I feel like basketball should be a summer sport.
Don't like that.
I know you don't. I think basketball should be a summer sport. The players playing it are literally wearing tank tops and shorts.
Don't like that.
And they, then your only choice isn't, again, plug your ears, baseball. You have other options besides... Plug your ears again, baseball. If you have a team like the Rockies, which provide I'm sorry, don't just plug your ears for this whole time. And it's like, wouldn't a family love to go into an air-conditioned arena with their friends wearing tank tops, the uniform, outside, going in? Dude, there's nothing worse. You show up, you're wearing a tank. I mean, like wearing an adult man wearing a tank top is already the worst thing on earth. But in February, what are we doing?
Got to put the hoodie underneath, man. Put the hoodie underneath.
Why is basketball a winter sport? That's what I need that explained to me. There's nothing about basketball that, like, if, for example, the Olympics are happening right now.
Yeah.
One of the professional sports is involved. Which one is it? Hockey. When does basketball play? The Summer Olympics. I rest my case. What a great case.
That actually is a good point. I've never thought about that. And we'll head to our next break on that thought. When we come back, expectations for the back half of the season and the Mount Rushmore of worst Colorado sports contracts. That's coming up next. Well, I also want to give a shout out to our friends right now at New Built Restoration and Construction. New Built Restoration and Construction is a company that you have to have on speed dial right now, because I get it. It's not always sexy to talk about home emergencies, but the reality is they happen sometimes, whether it's water damage, fire damage, mold. Even if you're just trying to do some projects around the house, sometimes you need a good company like New Built that's available for you. And boy, is New Built ever available for you. They're available 24/7. That means it could be 3 a.m. and you wake up, you go downstairs, and oh my God, your basement's flooding with water for some reason, a pipe burst. You never want that to happen, but it does happen sometimes. And you got to have a company like New Built Restoration and Construction available for you. They do fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, commercial projects, and more. So when that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there for you at nubilt.com or call 720-902-7472. Let them know that DNVR sent you. And I can't go any further without giving some massive love to our friends at Raising Cane's. Raising Cane's is my go-to place for anything lunch, dinner. I mean, you can even probably do breakfast there. It's go-to no matter what time of day it is. And there's a reason for that. Raising Cane's has the best food out there. And there's so many different locations around that it's almost like you got to make excuses not to go there. I mean, there are so many good things to say about Raising Cane's. They've got incredible chicken fingers. They've got fresh made lemonade. They've got sweet tea. I actually was I was at the grocery store the other day and saw gallon-sized Raising Cane's sweet tea sold at the grocery store. So maybe you're not even going out to their locations. You can go get their sweet tea at the grocery store. Of course, they have their incredible cane sauce made in the restaurant every day. So you just can't go wrong. I'm going to be going over to Raising Cane's literally right after this show. It's kind of like a daily habit for me at this point. So yeah, be sure to get your box combo today. Make your craveable dreams a reality. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love. Back here on the Denver Sports Podcast. We're going to continue talking about the Nuggets here in just a second. We've got big expectations for the second half of the season. Of course, we'll break all of that down. But we did see yesterday, and it's funny because I feel like this time of year we always see some news alert come up regarding Chris Bryant. Yesterday, it was announced that
are you even allowed to say that name?
I know it does. It does. I think I saw someone on Twitter say Voldemort. He who should not be named. Yeah, exactly.
He whose contract should never be mentioned.
But it brings up the question to me, and I want to tie this into the Nuggets too. Chris Bryant, obviously the worst contract in Rockies history, for sure.
I think Chris Bryant is the worst contract in American history.
So that's the question: is what's the Mount Rushmore of worst Colorado sports contracts? We know Chris Bryant for the Rockies. We know Russell Wilson for the Broncos. Who's the Nuggets' worst contract in franchise history?
Oh, well, let me think here because
you might have to go back a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there were like contracts where you didn't get anything out of. Oh gosh, let me think about this because like the Nuggets haven't really been beset by a bunch of terrible contracts. Trying to think about this. On that, it's weird to put bad things on Mount Rushmore, by the way.
Yeah, I know it's true.
It's like all what, like what's.
Let's celebrate the failures of Colorado sports.
We're gonna take 10 years to carve out the face of this guy we absolutely hate. What's the bad version of Mount Rushmore?
Just I don't know, dude.
The
gravestone, maybe.
Yeah. Or just like the doormat, like you just wipe your feet on. I'm trying to think, like I have to think about that.
Okay.
It's been mentioned in the chat. Reggie Jackson was a bad pick or was a bad contract because
Dario, yeah.
But he was a great contract because we were able to get Big Val from him. Reggie Jackson, this is the dangerous thing. So the Nuggets right now are in the buyout market portion of the season. There are players around the league which other teams have deemed so detrimental in one way or another to their team that they just pay them to go away.
Yeah.
They're just like, beat it, just get out of here. And now because the Nuggets are not in the second apron, they have the luxury of being able to go through the discount bargain bin to see if there's any of these deeply damaged players that they want to add to their team. There's names like Lonzo Ball out there, who I'm told the Nuggets would be interested in, except for his medicals are just terrible. Like he's played for like 10 minutes over the last 5 years. There are players like Hayward Highsmith, guys you've literally never heard of, but like people will tell you like, oh yeah, he's great player.
Go into the stats and look
what
at all
I've
that.
learned. Okay, so last year or a couple years ago, I can't even remember, the Nuggets got Reggie Jackson. He was the number one target on the buyout market. It felt like, oh my God, times have changed. free agents and guys that have choices are choosing to come to the Nuggets, which is monumental, something we'd never seen before, and really is, endemic of the fact that we have the Nikola Jokic era is real. Like players want to come play with him. So we signed him because he was the number one target on the buyout market. They had to also give him a second year with a player option on this contract. And he was fine in the first year, and it just got worse and worse. And you're like, oh, yeah, this is why they bought this guy out. And we had to, in order to get rid of his contract, we had to ship out like 3 picks, attach them to Reggie Jack. So it seemed like a great thing. It was actually terrible. It was not even a big contract, but it wrecked us. Yeah. One of the worst contract we currently have is Zeke Naji. Zeke Naji is not a massive, it's not a Chris Bryant contract where you're like, what do we,
that harms you for years type of thing.
But what it does is Zeke Naji makes about $8 million, or maybe it's $12 million, $8 to $12 million. I can't exactly remember the number.
A lot of money.
But the way that the NBA now works is that with this new era of aprons, we don't have a salary cap. We have the most soft salary cap that is basically if you go above this amount, you're now liable for what's known as the luxury tax. And if you're in the luxury tax year after year, you get hit with a repeater tax penalty, which it starts to multiply, and it gets to be very unwieldy very quickly. If you find yourself in the first apron, you lose certain abilities, like you can't pick up free agents off of the buyout market. There's a couple other restrictions that you run into. If you get into the second apron, which is the most damaging, you at a certain point, if you are in that long enough, you start to lose draft picks. It becomes very, very punitive. So you're like, okay, fine. They're putting in this concept of a salary cap, but what it's done is it's created 2 classes in the NBA. You have the ultra wealthy, the 1%, the Giannis's, the Jokic's, the ultra max contracts. You have the concept of a max contract, the most you're able to pay somebody. So some guys there's guys on teams like LeBron James that make $50 million a season.
Yeah.
But you still have the same amount to work with. And so teams that have these mega stars have guys that make 40 million, 50 million, and then nobody in between. There's no middle class in the NBA anymore. And then you're either have those guys or guys that make $2 million.
Yeah. And
Zeke Naji is in the exact wrong middle range where he's not
bad circumstances.
Christian Brown just signed a contract with the Denver Nuggets to essentially make $25 million a year. Peyton Watson he's coming up on restricted free agency at the end of this year. And he's obviously looking to be paid around the same amount as Christian Brown. But we have this $8 to $12 million a year Zeke Naji contract. We're not getting play out of him. Nobody will bite to take his contract. And so it's putting us in a position where we might have to lose a player like Peyton Watson or Cam Johnson or somebody to make room for that level contract. So from that standpoint, Zeke Naji is it might be honestly the worst contract in the NBA, which is funny because it's not even for that much.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing though, is that when you have all of these different rules and restrictions and aprons and, caps and all that kind of stuff that you see within the NBA, so much so that it can be kind of annoying, like you just kind of described.
Yes.
It does, I think, protect teams from really making lifelong devastating contracts, right? You see what happened with Russell Wilson and the Broncos, although they were able to kind of scheme their way out of that, which has been very impressive.
Yes.
But it's been to the point where we've all been kind of like, oh my God, the Broncos actually got out of that somehow. How did they escape all of that, all of the financial distress that they were in from the Russell Wilson deal? The Rockies, God, it's going to take them a decade to get out from underneath that contract with Chris Bryant. So with the Nuggets, at least, and in the NBA, even in looking up what some of the other teams, worst contracts in NBA history, there are some bad ones, but they aren't hamstringing teams for decades like you see in other sports.
Well, there's a couple contracts that are going to absolutely devastate the teams that are.
Yeah, you see them every once in a while.
The Milwaukee Bucks paid Dame Lillard a very handsome salary. He almost immediately tore his ACL. He's not even with the team. They cut him. They still have an unfathomable amount of dead cap money that they're not able to access. And he's not even with the team anymore. He just went straight back to the Portland Trailblazers. They're screwed. There was the John Wall contract that put the Washington Wizards, whatever they are, in just terrible. Like that guy had like a $50 million contract. He wasn't even very good to begin with. For whatever reason, the Phoenix Suns thought they were outsmarting the world by taking on his contract and building a big three with he and Devin Booker. They obviously have moved on from him since, but I still think they have a bunch of dead cap money with him as well. He's like, his bad contract has been so bad. It's like rippled throughout the league. Russell Westbrook famously had a really terrible contract for years and years. And there were these guys, this class of player that got paid way too much, way too early, and then could only be traded for each other.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's just like moving the decks around. And it's like, somehow they all end up on the Clippers. I don't know how that works out. But I mean, the Nuggets have been like pretty smart. Like they've made bad moves, but they haven't been like horrible ripple effect bad moves. And that's what you can do when you have essentially a cost control player.
Oh, yeah.
Because you drafted them.
He's the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah. But Jokic now makes, if not the most in the NBA, like one of the top, is like top 5 in the NBA.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Yes,
I'll even argue that, like, Shohei Ohtani, despite making an obscene amount of money, $500 million plus, it's worth it. I mean, the Dodgers are making so much money.
They did win the what's it called, the Super Bowl,
the World Series,
right.
twice. Yeah, I mean, the baseball Super Bowl. But I mean, the international market and all the viewership and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's worth it. So when you have a generational player like Jokic, it can be worth the money, no matter how much you're paying him in those ways.
No question. The crazy thing is like, I don't understand. I don't understand baseball. Is baseball dead or not? Like,
it's alive and well, but
everyone says it's dead, but then like they have a guy that makes $500 million. Like what gives?
I don't know. 2027, we'll find out.
Where's all this money coming from?
A lot of rich people in LA, that's for sure. We got to pause for our last break of the show. After the break, expectations for the back half of the season, and maybe even talk a little bit about the Olympics. Get your Olympic take as we wrap up the show. All right, we'll be back with more after this. All right, I want to give a huge shout out to our friends right now at Toyota. Toyota has been in our DNA for as long as we can remember. I know it's an official vehicle of DNVR. I know huge. Anytime you go outside, I feel like you see Toyotas everywhere. It feels like the official state car. But there's a reason for that. Toyotas are absolutely the best vehicle on the market. They're reliable. They last forever. They're easy to fix when something does go wrong. Just basic maintenance, those kind of things. I've had a lot of friends who have other types of vehicles, and I can say from experience, I've been so glad that I jumped on the Toyota train literally from the day that I got my first car. It was a 2000, I think it was a 1997 Toyota Camry, and I just haven't looked back. Now I've got the 2024 RAV4, and I just can't say enough good things. Toyota has all-wheel drive models, four-wheel drive. They've got hybrid. They've got trucks. They've got SUVs. My 4Runner, or my RAV4, I should say, has the ability to put a car seat in the back. That was something that was important for my wife and I. So you just can't go wrong. So if you are in the market to buy a new Toyota, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Grove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And of course, last but certainly not least, got to give a massive shout out to our friends at Taco Bell. Oh, another great place to just go get some incredible food. And I was actually, I got to say a little story here. I did not ever experience Taco Bell until I was in college. I went through most of my young adult life, my teenage life, without ever experiencing Taco Bell. Got to college, went with some friends to our local Taco Bell, and I haven't looked back. You just can't go wrong with Taco Bell. They have so many different menu options, and they have even more now today than they did back when I was in college. They've got chicken, they've got different combo box, they've got Chipotle ranch chicken stackers, mini taco salad, beefy potato loaded griller. The list goes on. It's craveable food, man. It is the best place to go when you're just driving home, driving to work. Maybe you're just hanging out at home. You just call them up. You can get some Taco Bell. So nobody delivers everyday value and supports your hometown teams like Taco Bell. So stop by your nearest Taco Bell today and live Mas. So we've talked about expectations a lot. on this show. We've talked about, how the Nuggets exceeded expectations when Jokic was gone and how they're currently not meeting our expectations as of now. What's our expectations for the second half? I mean, I think we're all assuming they're going to be in the playoffs. It would be, knock on wood, but it would be a huge shock if they weren't. Something bad would have to happen. But with that in mind, I mean, where are we comfortable going into the playoffs? Like, where do you sit there at the end of the season and say, okay, like we're in a good spot?
To me, the Nuggets are still, nothing has changed for me with the ultimate expectation. The Nuggets should, by all rights, be vying for the championship.
Oh, of course.
They are sort of, I mean, really, a lot of it depends on the hamstring of Aaron Gordon. I mean, like a lot of our season hinges on that. And it's kind of like, it's kind of working out to where we should, again, very much knock on wood, we should have our full complement of players at some point, like shortly after this break. Spencer Jones will definitely be back. He might even be back tonight. Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon are the two where you're like, all right, can we get these guys back? And the thing is like when you go out for that type of injury, like you obviously have not been able to run. Mm-hmm. It takes time. It takes like Jokic famously said, like when Jamal was coming back from his big injury, his ACL, that he was going to suck for 20 games. And guess what he did? He sucked for 20 games. And then like honestly, magically at that 20 game mark, he started to regain form. He looked like himself again.
Yeah.
So it's going to be rough, man. Like in that we're going to have this whole season where we don't really have our guys all playing together, all firing on all cylinders together, like really learning about how to play with one another, like all of like the nuancy stuff that you get from teams that have been together for a long time, like just the look of like knowing, this guy's, if he's here, I'm going to cut inside. If he's there, I'm going to cut outside, and like things you talk about, but things that just the unsaid, the unwritten stuff that you get by keeping a team together for a long time. But man, I don't know. It's just like, this is new for the Denver Nuggets, this kind of era of knowing that we have what it takes. And we kind of live in rings culture now, man. Like it's almost like the regular season honestly doesn't really matter, except for the fact, like for the sickos like me that watch every game and like want to be entertained by it.
Yeah, season starts in the playoffs.
Season starts and then the playoffs starts. And we're kind of there because there's not a lot you can glean from this squad night by night, because there's always some mitigating factor. You're like, well, so-and-so was out, or, like we didn't really get our full bench unit together because blah, blah, blah. He had to step up. So there's something that you can point to every night. But I will say, like, the main thing that sucks right now is that Jokic doesn't quite look like Jokic.
Yeah.
Which is just jarring to a point that I can't even really describe. It's like seeing a true, like in my eyes, an actual deity become mortal is like,
yeah.
It's like way worse than when you like realize that your parents weren't smart for the first time.
Yeah.
Way worse.
Yeah.
So dude, I don't know. Like we're just in a bad spot. Like all we got is us, man.
Okay. But can I maybe try to shift our perspective a little bit here? Is there something to be said about the Nuggets struggling now when they are? I know a lot of this has to do with injuries, and so that kind of adds another variable to all of this. But you're right. Like we felt, if you're going to compare it to the Broncos were by no means the best team in the NFL this year, but they found ways to win football games time in and time out. And by the end of the season, I remember thinking to myself with a healthy Bo Nix, hey, I trust this Broncos team.
Yes.
If it's a 1 or 2 score game in the fourth quarter, I trust, because they've been through it. They've like been in the trenches and they've found ways to win, and they've been through hard times. Now, the Nuggets are struggling right now, but is there something to be said about maybe it's a learning opportunity? Maybe it's, I don't know, strengthening their resilience so that, when the playoffs come around, because that is when the season truly starts for the Nuggets, that they're a little bit stronger, a little bit more resilient than they would have been if it had just been a breeze to fly through the regular season schedule. Yes.
I mean, we've been talking about that has been the main talking point since Jokic went down with his bone bruise, with his hyperextension, is that, okay, this can actually, there is a very real silver lining here, where I always talk about it as the Jokic canopy theory. It's like Jokic is in the rainforest. He's the biggest, tallest, widest tree. All of the focus goes on him, all of the praise, all of the adulation, deservedly. And not a lot of sunlight makes it down to the floor, like for the other players. And when that is removed and they are in a position where the sun is shining very brightly on their face and they respond, it stands to reason that when, Jokic is off the floor, or even when he's on the floor, the confidence and the things that the players learn about themselves and each other during that time should be very valuable. And it seems like it has been, but like, I don't know, like right now it sucks. Like there's just all these things where you're like, yeah.
It always sucks.
But that's the thing, is it's like it should by all rights be cool right now, but it sucks.
I know.
Why is it not cool? Why does it suck? And some of it is that we still don't have all of our players back, but like also our goddamn canopy came back and it's like letting the rain through, dude. Like, what the hell, man?
He's putting a little shade on places that there wasn't shade there before.
Man?
Yeah, I know. It's tough. But you know what's not what doesn't suck?
Doesn't suck?
Is the Olympics right now.
Well, it depends on your perspective.
I don't know. I've enjoyed. Are you a Summer Olympics or a Winter Olympics kind of guy?
I like basketball, so I like the summer.
So you like the summer, despite the fact that basketball, as you pointed out, is a winter sport, that's such a unique take on that. I've never thought about it that way. Despite it being an indoor sport, it is. Yeah, you're right. It is a winter sport.
Of course, it's a goddamn summer sport.
Yeah,
what the hell are we doing out here?
I know that makes sense. Is there like a specific sport that you're into though with the winter side of things? I found myself drawn to U.S. curling recently. That's been electric.
No
must watch viewing.
No sport,
sure.
activity.
Yeah, it's sport.
Gets more shine. Like nothing gets higher than lower than curling during the Olympics. Like everyone during the Olympics time, everyone's
I'm
like,
going to go 4 more years without watching curling, but the minute it turns back on.
Oh, dude, if you encountered curling on your television like late at night, you'd be like, what the hell is this? During the Olympics, you're like, dude, this is electric.
Depends on how many drinks you've had. Could be a really nice way to spend your night.
No bigger bump in the sports world than curling gets during the Winter Olympics. But I don't know. I mean, it's cool. Like I like this snowboarding. But again, I say that I've not watched 1 second of it.
Really? You're not an Olympics guy?
Dude,
I'm in the wrong audience. I should have Kale. I should have Kale doing this segment.
I think if I still had like regular television, I would just turn it on and it would be on. Like I would watch it. But like I don't have NBC anymore. Because
Peacock
of Fubo.
Actually now. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna get Peacock to watch the Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
the
he's an Olympics hater.
Are, as everyone knows, the far inferior of the 2 Olympics.
Oh God, see, and I'm such a Winter Olympics guy over Summer Olympics. What? I love basketball, but I'm not a big fan of the
basketball.
I know, but I'm not a fan of the track and whatever.
What?
Spencer made a good point though. He was saying that a lot of Winter Olympics are scored based on judges and not actual wins and losses type of thing. And so he was saying like that's why he has an issue with the Winter Olympics, because it's like you're relying on some other being to subjectively grade you on something. And I thought that was an interesting point. But I still love Winter Olympics. Maybe it's because I live here in Colorado.
So what, curling? What else we look?
Skiing, snowboarding, all of those are great. Hockey's electric. We get to see Gabe Landeskog play in 10 minutes.
Really?
For the first time. I think are they playing at 1:10 today, Dion? I don't know if we know this. But I think I know Landeskog's coming back, and I believe that they're playing today at 1:10. I could be wrong. But
I've never heard
to watch Gabe Landeskog play.
I've never heard this from a person that's not like Kale.
Nathan McKinnon. What are you talking about, dude? This is you started a company. You started a company that's built around sports people, and you're saying there's one of the greatest sporting experiences from a just variety of different sports. Did you see the dude yesterday
who ran? They're bad. I'm just saying in comparison.
Sure, in comparison. Oh, I don't know. I mean, we could split hairs with that, but I still think just the Winter Olympics is a little bit better in my opinion. Did you see the dude yesterday who ran the sub 6-minute mile on skis going uphill in the snow?
But that's stupid. I mean,
that's insane. I've never seen something like that in my life.
Here's the real. You want to know the real issue with the Winter Olympics is they are the most cloistered. Like you have to be one of like 10 nations that just has snow all the time to be able to participate in, and then to even then participate in them, you have to be very rich.
Yeah, that is true. I'm looking at all these players and I'm like, or these athletes, and I'm like,
you don't know
have so much money.
You don't know that these are the best athletes.
Yeah.
Taking in the world. These are just the ones that have access to these sports.
Yeah, how does one get into, as our guy Dwayne in the chat says, luge? You know, the one where you're like laying on your back and you're skating down this huge, like, you know, sled basically. Like, how do you find out that you're good at that? Are you just like sledding one day and you're like, I'm faster than everyone else?
No, you grow up in Vail, and then there just is a bobsled course, and then like your family has access to a $20,000 sled, and then like somebody has to be the middle guy on the bobsled that just like pushes and then jumps in and then just does, whatever. I mean, listen, the Winter Olympics are fine. It's all about the spirit of competition and humans coming together to find, more things that they have in common than they do differently. But Usain Bolt, dude, I mean, come on. Like, what are we talking about? The winter, like, who's the big guy that comes out of Winter
I will
Olympics?
say, I have had the biggest highs in the Summer Olympics.
Of
but I
course.
think the consistency of the Winter Olympics, you just turn on any sport and it's just all fun. Like, I get bored watching track and field sometimes and those kind of things. I don't really get bored watching the Winter Olympics.
Well, you get bored watching the mile or whatever, but like track and field lasts like 40 seconds.
Yeah.
You're bored?
Maybe. As the chat says, that's stupid. We watch a sport where a ball is thrown in a hole. It's all stupid sports rule. That's a great way to end our show.
Well, of course. We're not,
it's all stupid.
I mean, it's all sports over everything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not discounting the idea of
sports over everything. Come on, man. Get on board with the Winter Olympics. Let's go.
Summer sports over winter sports. I'm going to make a second version of that.
I love it. All right. Thank you guys for hanging with us. If you guys got Nuggets show tonight, pre and post.
Yep. Yeah, we do. We're going to be here. We're going to be here.
All right.
Baby.
We'll find out if D-Line's going to be joining the Rockies beat moving forward if the Nuggets lose to the Grizzlies tonight. And if Harrison Wind is quitting the Nuggets beat altogether.
It's a big night for It's honestly a really big night for us.
It's a big night for us. So, all right. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more Nuggets content, head over to the DNVR Nuggets show later tonight. That's going to be popping off for the Grizzlies game. And we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll see you next time right here on the Denver Sports Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.